Okay. Is it actually long? That is the big question. Well, I'm going to assume that it is. So we're going to get right into it. I'm not going to beat around the brush because I don't have a lot of time to do so. This is a system I retrieved from work, however long ago it was now. I have not done anything with it. So we're going to actually get this ready to go. And what I'm going to model this after is going to be my second ever computer. The Pentium 120, because that's the CPU that it's got in it. As far as I know anyway. Assuming it actually does have a CPU in it. I hope it's got a CPU in it. Because I don't know where all my collection of CPUs is. At least not for something this old. I know where all my P4 stuff is. I think the other CPUs are in that same collection, but I'm not going through that. So there's a couple things that I've got. I've got hard drives. I've got CD-ROM drive. Actually, you can just kind of see some of the stuff over here, as well as my dish for dinner. There's a heat sink that I've hot-wired to work off of 12 volts. Well, the fan I've hot-wired to work off of 12 volts. And there's some expansion cards. So that's what we're going to do. Now, I got to figure out what all is in here first. There is no CPU. Of course there's no CPU. I had a CPU in here. I know I had a CPU in here. So goodness only knows where the CPU I wanted to put in here is gone. Probably landed on the floor somewhere. I could spend a whole bunch of time looking for it, but I don't think I'm going to. You know, instead what I think I'm going to do... No, that's a Pentium 100, so that might not be a good idea. And it's telling me that it's buffering, which I know is completely incorrect. Actually, it's probably because I didn't put it on the actual live stream. I don't know what the deal is with that, why that screws up all the time. Just that it does. Skip ahead to live broadcast. Yep, that solves the problem right off the bat. There are a lot of dishes in here right now. I need to get rid of them. Anyway, I need to put a CPU in here. I don't know why there isn't a CPU. I had a CPU in there. So, what I'm going to do for now, because I actually have one sitting here. What is this? This is a 133? Wow. Apparently this is a Pentium 133. Okay, I'm not putting that in there. Maybe I'll look for it. But again, I don't really have a lot of time to lollygag. So, if I have to, I've got a Pentium 133 right here that I could install. I know there is some modification I'm going to need to do to this. I do have one IDE ribbon cable, so that's good. I'm going to have to cut this zip tie because I hate zip ties in computers. What is this tied into? I have no idea what that goes to, unless it's supposed to be some kind of fan. Yeah, this is going to need a little bit of help. I was going to put a Visa Local Bus video card in here, but as it turns out, this is not a VLB system. It's got a Media Bus slot. How useless is that, eh? Media Bus. That was one of Asus's proprietary Junko standard things that they had back before PCI was really a thing, although you'll see that PCI is also present on this board. Alright. Now, I could swear that if the CPU fell anywhere, it would have been back here. But I don't see the CPU back here either. I'm not going to spend, like I said, I'm not spending too much time looking for it. Mostly because I don't have time to spend looking for it. Well, I'm not going to. You know what? Screw it. I don't care. I'm putting a 133 in there. And that'll be that. I don't know where the 120 went. It was in an ESD bag. Apparently it's not in that ESD bag anymore. So, I don't know what happened there. That's kind of stupid, actually. And of course, this is all disorganized because I had to move stuff around. Why is it that nothing can ever go right when I'm trying to do it? I don't understand that. Well, I'm going to assume the jumpers are correct. How about that? Because I don't care. I'm going to be putting a 120 in here anyway. I'm probably covering up the camera with my big arm right now. But let's see how the CPU goes in. It's a 0 insertion force. I see a couple of bent pins. That's not good. So I'll have to fix those. I see more than a couple. How'd those pins get bent? No idea how that happened. Because this thing was perfect when I brought it home. Well, I won't be using it then. I'm not rebending pins, so I'm going to have to find a CPU. Oh, how awesome. I might not even be able to do this. The CPU was supposed to be in here. I'm pretty sure it was. So I think somebody has borrowed my CPU. That's what I think. I'm going to move that out of the way and get up on this thing here and see if I can find a CPU. What am I stepping on? It needs to go away right now. Alright. I don't think I've got one in this mess. Not a... That's an Intel 486DX4. That's not going to help me. I have a couple Pentium 3 class things. There's a Pentium 4, socket 423. Yep, that's all I got back here for CPUs. So, no idea where my Pentium 120 went. It was supposed to be in the machine, and apparently somebody has walked off with it, so I guess I will not be able to do this, will I? And then I knock that on the floor because it defies gravity. There's been a lot of gravity defiance in here today. An awful lot of it. I'm getting real tired of it. If you couldn't already tell, I'm getting real tired of a lot of things. There's been a lot of crap that's happened here today that really there's no excuse for any of it. Because gravity, gravity is supposed to be a universal constant. And yet if you think about it, the stuff that falls on the floor in here, really, there's no reason for it. It doesn't fall on the floor because it falls on the floor. It falls on the floor because it jumps on the floor. It's pretty much how I'm going to describe it because, well, that's pretty much true. So I'm going to have to see if I can straighten out these pins because I don't have any other choice when it comes to a CPU. This thing was pristine when I brought it home, so I have no idea what happened. Again, probably some chain moving things around. That's another thing that happens a lot. Really drives me nuts. I hate it when people come in here and feel the need to reorganize. Let's make it look better, and then I can't find anything. So, you ever wonder why I actually don't do something? That's why. Wish people would realize that. Well, I think that's probably as close as it's going to get. I don't remember how exactly this goes in. Why is it telling me it's in low power mode? What is wrong with this thing? I don't understand that. That's really stupid. So I'm going to do it off camera because okay. Trying to put a CPU in a system when the CPU has bent pins. I'm really annoyed by this development. Really annoyed by this development. This thing was perfect when I brought it home. I'm starting to get a little bit tired of this mess. Stop shutting off! If you couldn't already tell. It's plugged into the wall. There's no excuse for it to keep turning on and off like that. I have to find a pair of tweezers or something that I'm going to have to be able to use. I don't even think I'm going to be able to use this CPU. I'd love to know what happened to the one that I was going to put in here in the first place. I don't understand how stuff can disappear without a trace. Really don't get that. And of course, I don't know why Intel designed this CPU so that it's impossible to see where these pins are. That was a dumb design decision. Can't believe they did that. Although it's Intel, why should I be surprised? I could just get out the other system and take the CPU out of that. Maybe I will, because I bet that's where it went. I had two of them. Two Pentium 120s, and one of them appears to have disappeared without a trace for, well, what I can only assume is no reason whatsoever. Trying to find it. Doesn't reveal its existence. I found a CPU, but that's not the one I want. That's a socket 478 CPU. That is useless. Can't find it. It's supposed to be right here. It was on this table. I know I put it on this table. People wonder why I never reorganize anything. Well, gee, I think we found out the reason. Oh, man, it makes me so mad, actually. It really does. If you couldn't tell. Oh, my God. What the hell? Alright, this is coming out of here because it's nothing but in my way. This ProView monitor that I never use. Alright. I'm trying to have a look underneath all this mess. I still don't see it. It should have, if it didn't defy gravity, it should have fallen here. So at this point, the only thing I can assume is that it's defied gravity because I don't see it. It didn't fall down there. Get this stuff out of the way. Didn't fall here, didn't fall there. Didn't fall here. There's a battery that's useless. Didn't fall here. I'm just pulling things out aimlessly until I find it at this point. Oh, what's this? Oh, I found it. Shit. Holy crap, I found it. Oh, give me that. I want the CPU. Give it to me. I want it. Oh, where is it? I can't see it now. There it is. How many pins are bent? I don't see a single bent pin on that. Awesome. Oh my god. How long was that? That was 12 minutes that I spent looking for a CPU. Holy crap. I hope it's going to install now. Let me see if I can actually... Wow, I'm all sweaty now. Good thing I'm not going to actually show up on camera. And this power strip is still turning itself off at random. I don't know why. Let's see. Pentium 120. Holy crap. I'm probably covering up the camera with my arm. If so, I apologize. I'm sorry. Okay. There's a CPU in there now. It's not halfway out of the socket. Alright. Man. I hope none of the pins are bent and it's not going to blow up that CPU. Okay, next step. Cut this stupid zip tie that's right here. Because this thing has no right existing, so... I just noticed this is a Sparkle power supply. That's fairly nice. I think the other one has some junk in it. Okay. Come on. Oh, it doesn't want to cut, does it? Little bugger. I'll cut it. Watch me. Just like that. I'm not even sure what this is, so I'm going to just get rid of it. I know the frame rate's junk. I apologize again. There's not much I can do about that. I'm stuck with this because if I use the Android phone, not just the frame rate, but the whole video goes like crap. Do I need a pair of pliers to get this out? I mean, I don't care about it. Maybe that's why nobody removed it. It's because you can't get it off. Do I have a pair of pliers I could use? Yes, I do. Watch this. I'm going to break something before this is all said and done. There. Off. Get out of here. Go away. No one wants you. Useless piece of crap. Alright. Oh, that's for the flop. What? I just noticed there are 2 floppy power connectors on this power supply. I hope there's enough power connectors for what I want to do with it. So that one will go to the CD-ROM eventually when I install the CD-ROM. That one's probably going to go to the hard drive. I have 2 extra power connectors, so I could probably put 2 hard drives in here if I desired to do so. But I guess they're going to go in this, which doesn't sit in there very nicely, evidently. It's telling me it's in low power mode again. No, you're not. It's probably because of the stupid power strip being stupid. I wish it would just stop that. So fine, I'll move it out of the way so I don't walk on it then. I'm going to have to get a new extension cable. That, I think, is what the problem is. Wow, I've already wasted up to 9:30 basically doing nothing. I did install that CPU though. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this heatsink in place. Get the wiring out so that way I don't... Because I've hot wired this heatsink, the fan on this heatsink, so that it would work off of the... so that it would work correctly. Now the one thing I don't really like about this is that this is a Pentium 3 heatsink. So this better fit in here. Oh, this better fit. Oh, I'm going to make it fit. I'm going to make it fit. We'll bend these capacitors out of the way. Yeah, this is going to fit. Hope I didn't just break it off the board, but this thing's going to fit. I don't believe it. It doesn't fit. That's a piss off. That's what that is. Yeah, I can't... No, this heatsink won't fit in here either. So, fine. I won't be doing that then, I guess. I'm going to just run it without the heatsink. Which is not a good idea. Hope I didn't just damage the board by doing that. But I guess I'm going to be running it without a heatsink for now, and I'll have to find a proper one for the Pentium 120 CPU. I don't know why. Leave it to Asus to design a motherboard like this, where they put the capacitors way too close to the CPU for a heatsink to work. That's actually really annoying, to be honest with you. Okay, so the next step that is going to be then is to get all this out of the way, and I'm going to pull out... There's a metal cage in the front here, or in this drive beige thing here. I'm going to pull that out. Where's the screwdriver? Nothing can ever go right. The screwdriver was right here. It's right here on the floor because that was where I last used it. Now it's not there. Somebody has stolen my screwdriver. Surprise? Nope, not in the slightest. Most of this video is just my complaining about stuff of mine being missing because it's not where I put it. There's a reason why I leave things sitting out. It's so I know where it last was. It's so I know where it is, and so I can find it the next time I want it. Everybody else doesn't seem to understand that simple concept. So they put things wherever they please. In what they call their definition of a way. And guess what? Then I can't find it. So I guess I won't be using that. And I'm going to have to hope... Oh, the Robertson drive anyway, so I do know where that screwdriver is at least. So, saved by the fact that it's a Robertson drive. I'll have to go looking for that screwdriver later. I'm going to pull this out of here, because once again, this is another thing that really doesn't have any right existing. Alright, so now I've got to flip it around. Oh, like I said, leave it to Asus to design a board like this. Gotta pull out all these. I'm using a flat blade that is like 3 times too small to do this. I wonder if this is a custom-made drive cage. This does not look standard equipment. Yeah, I'm really starting to get the feeling that this is custom. See that? Interesting. We learn something new every day. So I thought that I was such hot stuff by getting that heatsink. I thought, oh yeah, I'll be able to put a heatsink in the system. So much for that. But at least I can put some of the other components in it. What's this? Warranty void if removed. Probably some asset tag for something or another. I don't think it's for this system. I think the system's asset tag would have been on the back. Or the front. Would have been. I don't actually know because this thing was left for dead when I got to it. I'm not going to run this for very long because it doesn't have a heatsink. And I know somebody got on my case for not having a fan or heatsink compound. With a ceramic Pentium chip, you don't need any of that, but what you do need is a heatsink. This isn't like the old 486 and that kind of stuff. It does produce enough heat to require a heatsink. So I might even go find one and see if I could put one on top of this. Okay, good. I thought I scratched it. That would have been a heart-wrencher. Okay, so I'm going to pull out this floppy drive connection just so I can move the cabling out of the way. So I can ultimately get this piece of metal out of here, which is in here in a stupid way. Come on. Oh, I see how this is going to be. Look at this crap. Gross. I'm not even going to put that on my chair rather than putting some of the other components. That's disgusting. Okay, so there's that done. Now I want to put in the CD-ROM. I wonder if I left out that CD audio cable that I pulled out of that one machine. I don't think so. And of course, I have no idea where that would have gone at this point. I'd love to put a CD audio cable in this, because audio over the IDE bus is absolutely dreadful. Alright. I am getting the feeling that I'm going to have to pull the front panel off of this machine, which means I do probably need that screwdriver. Wherever it's gone off to. Well, I found it. It's buried under crap now. I got M&Ms sitting all over the floor because I had a jar of M&Ms defy gravity and fall on the floor. Okay. At least nothing's plugged in at this point. So I can actually do this. Hopefully to where you can see it. I don't think I'm going to... I might not even power it up. I might give it a brief test to make sure that everything works. Other than that, I was going to install Windows on it. I don't have time for that. I'm now down to 20 minutes. A Windows install is going to take more than 20 minutes on its own. I might not even get to all the hardware. But I'm going to have to go pilfering through work, and I'm going to have to see if I can find a heatsink. I would grab one off of some of the equipment that's in... Well, actually, I know which one I could grab it off of. Although I'm a little hesitant to do that. I'm not real sure. Okay, so there's another screw. Let's see if I can get this out. So I'm going to have to pull the front panel off. Putting that back on might be a little adventurous. And I hope that's all the screws to get the front panel off. It's not got some... Oh, it does. Does it? Yeah, it does. How do they expect you to get this front panel off if they've got a screw there? There's a screw down here. Like, I'm not kidding. There's one right here. Can you see it? I don't think so. Would this thing let me turn on the video light? It will. Now you can see it. This thing way back here. You know, I'm ornery enough that I could just remove it and not put it back. Which is probably exactly what I'm going to do. Because I don't need that. It only needs 4. I don't know why they felt the need to put 6 screws in the front panel. It's the only thing I've ever seen with 6 screws. Most of them, in fact, don't even use screws at all. They use snaps. Why is... Okay, this is being annoying now. It's always the last couple screws that are the most difficult to remove. I don't know if anybody's ever told you that, but it's always the last ones. The first 2, if you've got 4 screws, the first 2 come out nicely. Third one needs a little bit of help, and the fourth one doesn't come out at all. At least I managed to get them this time. Okay, so now I should, in theory, be able to flip this down, pull this off. It's not coming off. Why is it not coming off? My flash just turned off. Why is it not coming off? Did they rivet it? Why would they put screws in it if they've riveted it? Well, it's plastic. I'm not going to rip that off. You know what? Forget it. I'm not going to engage in shenanigans, so I'm going to do it this way. I thought that was such a smart idea, didn't I? Oh, I think I'm going to have to remove this floppy in order to get this in place. I bet the only thing I'm going to actually get to is the CD-ROM here, because this is turning into quite the basket case. Maybe I should have started. I was thinking about starting at 8 o'clock, and I thought, nah, no, because if I start at 8 o'clock, then this is going to go so smoothly that I'll then have about an hour left over, and then what do I do? Well, all of a sudden, that's looking like a smart idea. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I gotta get this out of here so I can pull out, because what I need to do is I need to pull out the metal thing. There's a metal part in the case that needs to come out. Did I get all the screws or did I miss one? Is that why it's stuck? No, I got all 6 screws. So it's just stuck because somebody didn't design it properly. Whoever built this. This is an Acer manufactured case. So Acer obviously built in a design flaw. I find that a lot with case manufacturers. So they design something in a way that makes it seem uber tamper-proof, but in reality, all it really is it's a nuisance to people that are trying to upgrade their systems. So, alright, so now I can get that out, at least. And I could pull out, maybe, pull that out. Didn't break it, amazingly. And then there's a little metal thing in here. You can see it there. The thing to do with this is to just twist it until it breaks out. So that's now scrap. And now I can put my optical drive in place once I find enough screws for it. Now, here comes the fun part, is actually finding enough screws for the optical drive. And ones that'll work, too. I don't want to use that because that's not the proper head type. That'll just be a pain to get back out later. So I have 1 screw, I have 2 screws. If I have to go with only 3 or 4, I really don't care. It's not the proper type. I'm looking at my collection of screws. There's a 3rd one. And I think there's a 4th one. So, yeah, I've got 4 screws. The only problem is that they're of the fine thread type. I don't know if fine thread screw is going to be a problem. I suppose I could find out. I'll hold my root beer and watch this. Give the drive. Yeah, those might be an issue. I don't know why. Optical drives are usually fine thread. Well, let me try and put it in with the actual screwdriver. No, that'll be alright. Yeah, that'll be fine. Okay. So I thought that was going to be crap. But it won't. Alright, so we'll throw that in place. And take this. Put it in our newly opened slot. Line it up with the holes. And we'll grab our screws. You probably won't be able to see what I'm doing because I'm very limited with this tripod. It's not like my eyes. Maybe I should get one of those Google Glass things, those glasses, so I could do live streams from my glasses. That would be awesome. Totally, millennial certified, I'll tell you what. Although it would certainly do away with a lot of the stupid tripod shenanigans. Which would be a good thing, because I hate tripods. So, where'd the screw go? There it is. Now, I didn't check the jumpers before I installed the drive. Whoopsie. I'm going to have to find a CD audio cable. I probably have one sitting somewhere. Probably shouldn't have screwed that in all the way if I have to move this. You could buy glasses with cameras in them on eBay. The problem is that I actually have a prescription, so I'd have to get prescription glasses. And I don't believe they sell those on eBay. I have a pretty strong prescription, so those are they probably have to be custom ordered. Hey, you wouldn't believe it unless I told you, but I cannot see at all. So yeah, I've missed a lot of things in my videos, but that's not really why. It's amazing they let me drive, I'll tell you what. But they do, I passed their little test, so whatever. As long as I have the piece of plastic that certifies me as a driver, I am not going to question their logic. Now, where is the plug for this? Oh, it's underneath the power plug. I wonder if you can see my ugly head in this shot right now. And once again, like I said, the last screw, is always the one that wants to be such a pain. See? It was in place, and it fell out by defying gravity. I don't know if you could see what I'm doing. Don't really care. I just want this screw to stop being stupid. Be really nice. It was in place. I don't know what the deal is with this. Well, here's what we're going to do. Flip it onto its side. Watch this. This screw thinks that it's going to win. Well, just watch me. If it doesn't work like this, then I won't be putting it in place because I do not have the time or the patience to deal with the BS right now. I've got about 10 minutes. At least I installed one thing. So this basically is going to be how to install an optical drive the wrong way. Pretty much. Or in the most convoluted way possible. But at least we're one step closer to having this machine up and running. Maybe next week what I'll have to do... Well, I suppose... What do I have? I've got about 15 minutes. So I can probably do a couple more things. I'm trying to decide how this would go in place. This is a very strangely designed system. I think it was actually riveted in place at one point and the rivets have broken. This, I'm talking about this 3.5-inch cage. I think that's what happened. There were rivets and the rivets got broken, probably when it was jostled around in scrap. I know the board works. I powered the system on, if I remember right, and it did come up. So, there's one thing, which is kind of amazing when you look at the outside of this case and how rusty it is. And I mean, you saw that, that little metal piece that they had installed in here, and how that looked. That was awful. And yet the system still works. Sometimes things just defy the explanations. Alright, so that's good enough. That screws in place. Alright, so now I need to put the floppy back in. And what else do I need to do? I need to put the floppy in. I have a couple video cards to try. I've got a PCI network card I'm going to try. I've got, what else in there? Sound card I'm going to put in. I'm definitely going to put the sound card in place. I think that's it, really. But yeah, all of that is definitely going in here. I'm going to set it up exactly how my Pentium 120 system was set up back in the day. Now, operating system wise, I don't actually know what I'm going to do yet. This whole thing is plastic. That's gross. But I'm not inclined to change it, so I don't actually think well, I do. I've got a zip drive in another one that is actually metal, but I am not going to change that at this point, because I don't care enough. Okay, out. Where'd my screwdriver go? Here it is. Now the other question is, where are the screws for this? So now I got to put the screws back in the floppy. There's only really one way for this to go. This isn't like one of those setups where you've got slides that allow you to exactly, precisely position the stuff before putting it in. No, you've got to... It's either their way or the highway, pretty much. Oh, I see how this is going to be. It's because this front panel thing is in the way. Well, I'll get it in place. Just watch me. Did I vote? I don't discuss politics. And plus, I'm not an American citizen, so there's that. And I'll have you know that if you're going to discuss politics in this chat room, I'll just ban you, so don't do that. Well, I might not ban you, I'll just delete the comments, because I don't do politics on this channel. This is a computer technology, storm, footage, whatever. If you want political, you could go watch one of the hundreds of thousands of political channels on YouTube. I don't think this is the right screw. No, that's from the front panel. So, alright, now that we've cleared that up, we'll put that in place. I'll figure out where I put the other one, because I had both of them in my hand. It's one of these. Is it one of these? I thought it was one of these. No, it's not one of these. These are front panel screws, and there's 5 of them. Where'd the 6th one go? There's the 6th one. So, on that, where did the other floppy screw go? Because there should have been... It's disappeared. Oh, there it is. Oh, man. That's a hypothetical discussion that I'm also not going to get into, because I don't even want to think about that. It's way too 1984 for me. Then again, look at, you got telescreen, I mean Alexa, in people's houses now. So, at least they came true with that. Wait until it shows up on The Simpsons. That's what I'm going to say. If it shows up on The Simpsons, it's pretty much guaranteed to come true. Which, kind of scary if you ask me, but that's the way it's been. They've predicted pretty much absolutely everything that's happened. Or a lot of the big things that have happened. Political or otherwise. What the hell? Okay, so our floppy drive is now back in the case. So that's all in. I now have a CD-ROM in my system. Isn't that nice? So, next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put cards in, because that's the easy thing. And I've got 9 minutes to put expansion cards in a system. So, I have a network card here. Just some random, I think it's a 10100 card. Might even be gigabit. If it's gigabit, I'm pulling it out of here, because a gigabit card has no place in this system. I have a sound card. I'm going to do that one first. And I think I got 2 video cards in there. So really, my system had... The other thing that it had was a USB card. I had a USB card in it for a while. I should put a USB... I have a USB card I could put in here. I can't find it at the moment. And I'm not going to go and spend a lot of time looking for a USB card. Okay, so we'll at least put the ISA card in place. There's some bent pins on this. I better fix that, because if I don't fix that, then we might have an issue. I don't want pins to be touching each other, because that will blow something up real quick. And then all the fun will be over. We don't want that. Alright, so now there's no more touching pins. Sound card is installed. Don't really care what kind of setup it is. I think it's plug and play enough that the system will be able to figure that out on its own. Yeah, ISA plug and play. Oh, I'm sorry, plug and play. Such a nice concept. Are all of the things unplugged here? The turbo LED is inserted. My reset switch is unplugged for some reason. Alright, but yeah, that's the good thing. At least I've got all of the front panel connectors. At least all of those are plugged in. There's probably a reason why the reset switch was unplugged. I think it might actually be bad. I know it got stuck. So yeah, I think the reset switch might be bad on this machine. And that's why it was removed. I guess we'll find out. Maybe I'll be able to get it unstuck. It's a piece of plastic. Okay, so we'll try and undepress that. And I have depressed it. Yeah, it gets stuck. Okay, so as long as it's not depressed, I guess that's fine. There used to be a time when a reset switch was almost required. Remember the days of Windows Millennium Edition? Yeah. I wish that never happened, but it did. Okay, so PCI slot. We'll use this one, so it's far away from everything else. Normally I like to space cards out a little bit, but I'm not actually even sure if I'm going to keep that ISA video card. Because an ISA video card in a system like this is kind of a waste. You know, that's a low performance card in what would have been a very high performance system. So I'll probably end up putting a PCI card in here. Or if I'm really lucky, I could find a media bus network video card. That would be ideal, but I don't think I have much of a chance of finding anything media bus. Yeah, AMD. I'm mixing up all my manufacturers tonight. Asus and their proprietary shenanigans. That went in there with a very nice thunk. Hope that I didn't just break something. Well, I suppose we'll find out if the system doesn't turn on. Again, this is a short test. There's no heatsink on the CPU. This is a bad thing to do. Do as I say, not as I do. Don't do that. Put a heatsink on your CPU. I might drop that heatsink on it, just so that way at least there's something. And besides, I have 5 minutes. So, at least I can fire it up. I'm not going to plug in a keyboard because my keyboard is hidden right now. My AT bus keyboard. I'm not going to plug in anything but a monitor. So, here comes the moment of truth. I'm going to find out, or, well, yeah, I'll hook everything up. That might be important. And then the last thing that I will do, once I have everything hooked up, once the system is done getting stuck on my bedspread. Alright, floppy. I hope I'm going to remember which one is pin which. It's actually labeled. This is back in the day before they keyed any of these connections, so you had to make sure you got it right. Otherwise, you ended up, in the case of IDE, you ended up with a system that wouldn't post, but in the case of a floppy drive, it would work fine, you just wouldn't be able to use your floppy drive. So, figure out which one's pin 1. It's usually labeled red on the cable, but on the drive it's a different story. I don't know what it's jumpered for, don't really care at this point. I'll re-jumper it later. I just want to make sure that the power delivery is going to work. That's for the hard drive. We'll use this one. This is the first one that I grabbed. Plug in the floppy. And we'll plug in the power for this. It's telling me that it's low power mode again, even though it's not. Don't know what's wrong with this stuff tonight. Not understanding it. And then, let's plug in power. So, while I've got the system back out here, I'm going to plug in the power. I could, if I was feeling real adventurous, and maybe I will, got somewhere around here connection for If anybody remembers these, the inverse IEC connection to go to the monitor, power it straight off of the computer. I'm going to just use that. So we'll take the, not the zip tie, but the twist tie off of it. The very bad twist tie that's in very poor shape, I might add. I'll take the correct end, plug it into the computer. Just like that. Which you didn't even see because I didn't even have it in the right place. Oops! I'm sorry. Alright. So we'll grab a random monitor here. It'll be this one because I'm going to grab this one. And we're going to find out if this thing smokes or not. I hope not. That would really suck. I'd be very unhappy if that was the case. Okay. So now I got to put this monitor, plug it in. This is the last thing I'm going to do. Just plug it in. Whether it works or not. We'll see whether or not this was a success. I'm already not liking the fact that my monitor connector is in there crooked. I'll grab the, yeah, I don't have time to do anything else anyway, so we'll grab this, plug it into the back of the display, and then we will, or I will, and you'll watch, over there, find the power cord. That monitor is trying to fall over, but it won't. Plug it in. Here we go. Here it comes. Sweet. I didn't get a beep out of it, though. There it goes. Aha! Check it out! Yay! How much memory? 16 megs of RAM. Yeah, screw that noise. I want more than that. Alright, so we have a system that works. So our upgrade passed. I have it on the wrong IDE channel. I'll have to fix that. But everything else is good. And so on that note, thank you for watching. And I will see you on the next live stream where we might even be revisiting this project. Probably will be revisiting this project. I'm going to see if I can get a heatsink for that CPU that will actually work. Till then, that is all.